Tonight I want to speak to you about what the United States will do with our friends and allies to degrade and ultimately destroy the terrorist group known as ISIL. ISIL is not Islamic. No religion condones the killing of innocents, and the vast majority of ISIL's victims have been Muslim. And ISIL is certainly not a state. It was formerly al-Qaeda's affiliate in Iraq and has taken advantage of sectarian strife and Syria's civil war to gain territory on both sides of the Iraq-Syrian border. It is recognized by no government, nor by the people it subjugates. ISIL is a terrorist organization, pure and simple. So ISIL poses a threat to the people of Iraq and Syria
to free its
and
people
the broader Middle East,
and to defend the world
including
from
American
grave
citizens,
danger.
personnel, and facilities.
On my orders, coalition forces have
Left
begun
unchecked,
striking selected
these terrorists could
targets
pose
of
a
military
growing threat
importance
beyond that
to
region,
undermine Saddam Hussein's
including to the
ability
United
to wage
States.
war.
While we
These
have
are
not
opening
yet
stages
detected
of
specific
what will be
plotting
a
against our
broad and
homeland,
concerted campaign.
ISIL leaders have threatened America
More than
and our
35
allies.
countries
So
are
tonight,
giving crucial
with a
support
new Iraqi government in
from
place
the use of naval and air
and following
bases
consultations with
to
allies
help with
abroad
intelligence and
Congress
logistics
at home,
to the
I can
deployment of
announce
combat
that America
units.
will lead a broad
Every
coalition
nation in this
to roll
coalition
back
has
this terrorist
chosen
threat.
to bear the duty and
Our
share the
objective is
honor
clear.
of serving
We
in
will
our
degrade
common defense.
and ultimately destroy ISIL.
To all
First,
the men and women of the
we
United
will
States
conduct a
Armed Forces
systematic
now in the
campaign of
Middle East,
airstrikes against these
the
terrorists.
peace of a troubled world.
Moreover, I've
and
made
the
it
hopes of
clear
an
that
oppressed
we will
people
hunt down terrorists
now
who threaten our
depend on
country
you.
wherever they are.
That trust is well
That
placed.
means I will not hesitate to take action
The enemies you
against ISIL in
confront will
Syria
come to know your
as well as
skill
Iraq.
and bravery.
This
The
is a
people
core
you
principle
liberate
of my
will
presidency.
witness the honorable and
If you
decent
threaten
spirit
America,
of the
you will
American
find
military.
no safe haven.
In this conflict, America
Second,
faces an enemy
we will
who has
increase
no
our support
regard
to
for
forces
conventions
fighting
of
these
war
terrorists on the
or
ground.
rules of
We will
morality.
send an additional
Saddam
475
Hussein
service
has placed
members
Iraqi troops
to
and
Iraq.
equipment
Their
in
mission
civilian
is
areas.
to attack
said before,
Iraq's
these
nuclear,
American
chemicals, and
forces will
biological
not
weapons
have a
women
programs
and
combat
children
and its military
as shields
capacity
get
to
dragged
threaten
into
its
another
neighbors.
ground war in Iraq.
Their
Across the
purpose
border in Syria,
is to
we
protect
have
the
ramped
national
up our
interests of
military
the United
assistance.
States
I want Americans
Syrian
and
and
indeed
all
the
the world
interests
to know
of people throughout
Tonight
the
I
Middle
call
East
on
coalition
Congress
forces
and
will
around the
make
world.
every effort
give us
Saddam
additional
Hussein
resources
must not
and
be
resources
allowed to threaten his
train and
neighbors
equip
or the
campaign on the
world
harsh terrain of
with
a nation
nuclear
as
arms,
large as
We will
poison
continue
gas,
to draw
or
be
biological
longer
substantial
weapons.
counterterrorist
and more difficult.
capabilities.
I want to explain
prevent
why I have
ISIL
decided,
attacks.
with
And
the
helping
unanimous
double our efforts
recommendation
to
of
cut
our
off its
national
funding.
security
Stable and free
team,
country
Improve our
to
intelligence,
use
will
force in
require
Iraq,
our
strengthen our
sustained
defenses,
why we have acted now,
counter its war
and what we
propaganda,
aim to
Iraq
accomplish.
and
with
stem the
respect for
flow
its
of
citizens.
foreign
6 weeks
fighters
ago,
into
for their
and
great
out of
Saddam
the
Hussein
civilization,
announced that he would no
And
longer
in 2
cooperate
weeks,
with the
I will
United
chair a
Nations
meeting of the
weapons
UN Security
inspectors
Council
We have no
called
ambition
further
UNSCOP.
mobilize the international
Except
community.
They're
for
highly
uniform
professional experts
We
and
will
restore
continue to
control
provide
of that country to its
Their
humanitarian
job is
assistance
to
to
oversee the
innocent
elimination
civilians.
of Iraq's
I know that the
capabilities
families
to
of our
retain,
military are
create,
praying.
and
My
use
administration
weapons
has
all
of
also
those who
destruction,
secured
serve
bipartisan
will return
and to
support for
safely.
verify that
security
Iraq does not attempt to rebuild
Millions
I
of
that
have the
Americans
authority
capability.
to address the threat
The
from ISIL.
inspectors
For the safety
undertook
of your
this
I
loved
mission
believe we are strongest
first
as a
7.5
nation
years
of the
ago,
when the President
at
and
the end of the
Congress
Gulf
work
War,
for
together.
your
when
sacrifice.
Iraq agreed
So I
to
welcome
declare
your
and
gratitude
destroy
for
for this
its
effort
arsenal
in order to
as
show
a
the
condition
world
of the
that
ceasefire.
Americans are
you
united.
can
The
know
international community had
that
good
our
reason
forces
to
are
set
becoming
the
harmed.
The strategy of taking out
Other
terrorists
countries
threatens
possess
while
weapons
supporting
of
partners
destruction
on
Our
and
the
nation
left.
enters
These
this
attacks
conflict
One
with
that we
With
have
Saddam,
successfully
there's
pursued in
one
Yemen
big
and Somalia
ground
for
forces
years.
are
He
not
has
engaged.
used
The people of the United
This
States and
conflict
their friends
is
in Iraq
repeated.
will not live.
Use
Unleashed
force against
chemical
any
weapons
of
against
our
Iranian
friends
troops
Invaded
during
the
their
Gulf of
decade-long
with
war.
mobilized partners
Not only
across
against
Kuwait,
soldiers,
to address
but
broader
against
member of the
civilians.
Arab
right now.
League,
Firing
member of
Scud
the
missiles
United
to
Nations
citizens
was
of
crushed.
Israel, Saudi
Navy,
Arabia,
its people
Bahrain,
Coast Guard and
Iran.
Marines,
Not only
so
against
that we do
foreign
not have
enemies,
to meet at
but
later
even
with
against
parties
its
of
own people,
firefighters
war against
gassing
Kuwait
Kurdish
and
civilians
doctors
in
on
northern
the
The
streets
Iraq.
of our
battle
cities.
has been joined.
The international community had
Now
little
this
doubt
conflict
then,
has come.
and I have
The
no
only way
doubt
to limit
today
its duration
that
is
left
to
unchecked,
apply
Saddam Hussein will
decisively.
use
the
these
consent
terrible
of the United
weapons
States
again.
Congress.
This will not be a
Follows months
campaign of half
constant,
measures.
Now, over the past 3
virtually
weeks,
we will accept
endless
no
The
outcome.
UN weapons inspectors have
diplomatic
carried out
activity
their plan for
on the
testing
part of the
Iraq's
United
My fellow
cooperation.
citizens,
The United States.
The testing
dangers to our
period
country
ended this
many
weekend.
other
and the
countries.
world.
And last night,
Will be
Arabs
overcome.
UNSCOM Chairman Richard
what
Butler
became
We will
known
pass through this
reported
time
the
as
of
an Arab
results
peril.
solution.
to UN Secretary
Only
General
on the
Ali.
world of
Conclude that
peace.
Saddam
The
Hussein
conclusions
was unwilling to
We'll
walk
defend
are
our
away.
stark,
We will
sobering,
Others
bring
traveled
freedom
to
and
Baghdad
profoundly
in
a
a variety of efforts to
In
restore
4 out
peace
of
and
the 5
justice.
categories set forth,
Our Secretary of
Iraq has
State,
failed to
James
cooperate.
Baker, held an
Indeed, it
historic
actually
meeting
has
in
placed
Geneva,
new restrictions
only
on the
to be totally
inspectors.
rebuffed.
Here are some
This
of the
past
particulars.
weekend, in a
Iraq
last-ditch
repeatedly
effort,
blocked
the
UNSCOM from
Secretary General of the
inspecting
United
suspect
Nations
sites.
went to the Middle East
For example,
with
it
peace
shut
in
off
his
access
heart.
to the headquarters
His
of its
second
ruling
such
party,
mission
and
he
said it
came
will
back
deny
from
access to the
Baghdad
party's
with
other
no
offices,
progress at
even
all
though UN
in
resolutions
getting
make
Saddam
no
Hussein
exception for them,
to withdraw
and
from
UNSCOM has
Kuwait.
inspected them in the
Now,
past.
the 28
Iraq
countries with
repeatedly
forces in the
restricted
Gulf
UNSCOM's
area
ability to
have
obtain necessary
exhausted all
evidence.
reasonable efforts
For example,
to reach a
Iraq
peaceful
obstructed
resolution.
UNSCOM's effort to
Have no
photograph
choice
bombs
but to
related to its
drive
chemical
Saddam
weapons
from
program.
Kuwait by force.
It tried to stop an
We
UNSCOM
will not
biological
fail.
weapons team from videotaping a site
As I
and
report to you,
photocopying documents,
air
and
attacks
prevented
are
Iraqi
underway
personnel
against
from
military
answering
targets in
UNSCOM's
Iraq.
questions.
We
Prior
are
to the
determined
inspection
to
of
knock
another
out
site,
Saddam Hussein's
Iraq actually
nuclear bomb
emptied out the
potential.
building, removing not
We will
just
also
documents, but even the
destroy his
furniture
chemical
and the
weapons
equipment.
facilities.
Iraq has
Much of
failed to turn
Saddam's
over virtually
artillery and
all the
tanks will be
documents requested by
destroyed.
the inspectors.
Our operations
Indeed,
are
we
designed
know
to best protect
that
the
Iraq
lives
ordered
of
the
all the
destruction of
coalition
weapons-related
forces
documents
by
in
targeting
anticipation
Saddam's
of
vast
an UNSCOM
military
inspection.
arsenal.
So
Initial
Iraq
reports
has
from
abused
General
its final
Schwarzkopf
chance.
are that
As the
our
UNSCOM report
operations are
concludes,
proceeding
and again I
according
quote,
to plan.
Iraq's
Our
conduct
objectives are
ensured
clear.
that no progress
Saddam
was able to
Hussein's
be made
forces
in the fields of
will leave
disarmament.
Kuwait.
In light of this
The
experience,
legitimate government
and
of
in the
Kuwait
absence of full
will be
cooperation by
restored
Iraq,
to its rightful
it
place.
must regrettably be
And
recorded
Kuwait
again
will
that the
once again
Commission
be free.
is not able to conduct
Iraq
the
will
work
eventually
mandated to
comply
it
with
by the
all
Security
relevant
Council
United Nations
with respect to
resolutions.
Iraq's prohibited
then,
weapons program.
When peace is restored,
In short,
it is our
the
hope
inspectors are saying that
that
even if
Iraq
they could
will
stay in
live
Iraq,
as a
their work
peaceful
would be
and
a sham.
cooperative member of the family of
Saddam's
nations,
deception has
thus
defeated their
enhancing the
effectiveness.
security and
Instead of the
stability
inspectors
Gulf.
disarming Saddam,
Some
Saddam
may
has
ask,
disarmed
why
the
act now?
inspectors.
Why not wait?
This situation presents a
The
clear
answer is
and
clear.
present danger
The
to the
world
stability
could
of the
wait
Persian
no
Gulf
longer.
and the safety of
Sanctions,
people everywhere.
though having
The
some
international
effect,
community gave
showed
Saddam
no
one
signs
last
of
chance
accomplishing their
to
objective.
resume cooperation with the weapons
Sanctions were
inspectors.
tried for well over
Saddam
5
has
months,
failed to seize
and we
the chance.
and our allies concluded
And so
that
we had to
sanctions
act,
alone
and
would
act
not
now.
force Saddam from
Let
Kuwait.
me explain why.
While the world
First,
waited,
without a strong
Saddam Hussein
inspection system,
systematically
Iraq would be free to
raped,
retain and begin to
pillaged,
rebuild
and plundered
its
a tiny
chemical,
nation.
biological, and nuclear
No
weapons
threat to his
programs in months,
he subjected the
not
people
years.
of Kuwait
Second,
to
if
unspeakable
Saddam can
atrocities.
cripple the weapons inspection
And
system
among those
and
maimed
get away
and
with it,
murdered,
he would conclude that
innocent
the international community, led by the United
while the
States,
world waited,
has simply lost its
Saddam
will.
sought to add
He will
to the
surmise that he
chemical
has free
weapons
reign
arsenal he now
to rebuild
possesses
his arsenal of
an
destruction.
infinitely more
And
dangerous weapon
someday,
of
make
mass
no mistake,
destruction, a
he will
nuclear
use it
weapon.
again, as he
While
has
the
in the
world
past.
waited, while the world
Third,
talked peace and
in
withdrawal,
halting our airstrikes in
Saddam Hussein
November,
dug in
I gave
and
Saddam
moved
a
massive
chance,
forces into Kuwait.
not a license.
While the world
If we
waited,
turn our backs
while
on his
Saddam
defiance,
stalled,
the
more
credibility
damage
of
was
U.S.
being
power
done to the
as a
fragile
check against
economies
Saddam
of the
will
third
be
world,
destroyed.
the emerging
We will not only
democracies
have
of
allowed
Eastern
Saddam
Europe,
to shatter the
to the
inspection
entire
system
world,
that
including
controls his weapons
to
of
our
mass
own
destruction
economy.
program. We also
The
will
United
have
States,
fatally undercut the fear of
together
force
with the United
that
Nations,
stopped Saddam from
exhausted
acting to
every
gain
means at
domination
our
in the
disposal
region.
to bring this
That
crisis
is
to a
why,
peaceful end.
on the unanimous
However,
recommendation of my national
Saddam
security
clearly
team,
felt
including
that
the
by
Vice President,
stalling and
Secretary of
threatening
Defense,
and defying
the
the
Chairman of the
United
Joint
Nations,
Chiefs of Staff,
he could
the
weaken
Secretary
the
of State,
forces
and the
arrayed
National
against
Security Advisor. I
While
have
the
ordered
world
a
waited,
strong, sustained
Saddam
series of
Hussein
airstrikes
met every
against Iraq.
overture of peace.
They are designed to degrade
open
Saddam's capacity
contempt.
to develop and deliver
While the
weapons of
world
mass destruction,
prayed for peace,
and to degrade his ability
Saddam
to threaten his neighbors.
prepared for war.
At the same time, we are
I
delivering
had
a
hoped
powerful message to Saddam.
That when the United States
If you act
Congress,
recklessly,
in
you will pay a heavy
historic
price.
debate, took
We
its
acted
resolute
today
action,
because in the judgment
Saddam
of
would
my military
realize he could
advisors,
not
a swift
prevail
response would
and
provide
would
the
move
most
out of
surprise
Kuwait in accord
and the
with the
least
United Nation
opportunity for
resolutions.
Saddam to prepare.
He did not
If
do
we had
that.
delayed for even a matter of days
Instead,
from Chairman Butler's
He
report,
remained
we would
intransigent.
have given Saddam more time
certain
to disperse his forces
time was on
and
his
protect his
side.
weapons.
Saddam was warned
The hard
over
fact
and
is
over again
that so long as Saddam
to
remains in
comply
power,
with the will of the
he
United
threatens the
Nations,
well-being of his people,
leave Kuwait
the
or
peace
be
of his
driven
region,
out.
the security of the world.
Saddam has arrogantly
The best way to
rejected
end
all
that threat,
warnings.
once and for all,
Instead, he
is
tried
with
to
the new
make
Iraqi
this a
government,
dispute between
a
Iraq
government
and the
ready to live in
United
peace
States
with
of
its
America.
neighbors, a government that
Well, he
respects
failed.
the rights of its
Tonight,
people.
28
Bringing change
nations,
in Baghdad will take
countries
time
from
and effort.
5 continents,
We will strengthen
Europe
our
and Asia,
engagement
Africa,
with the
and
full
Arab
range of
League,
Iraqi opposition
have forces forces in the Gulf
and work with
area
them effectively
standing
and
shoulder
prudently.
to shoulder against Saddam Hussein.
The decision to use
These
force
countries had
is never
hoped the use
cost-free.
of force could be avoided.
Whenever American forces are
Regrettably,
placed in harm's way,
we now believe
we risk the loss of
that
life.
only force.
And while our strikes are
make him
focused
lead.
on Iraq's military
Prior
capabilities,
to ordering our
there will
forces
be
into battle,
unintended Iraqi
I
casualties.
instructed our military
Indeed, in the
commanders
past,
to take
Saddam
every
has
necessary
intentionally
step
placed
to
Iraqi
prevail
civilians
as
in harm's
quickly
way
as possible,
in a cynical bid
and with the
to
greatest
sway
degree
international
of
opinion.
protection possible
We must be
for
prepared for these
American and
realities.
allied servicemen and women.
At the same time,
I've told
Saddam
the
should have
American people
absolutely no
before
doubt
that this
if he
will not
lashes out at
be
his
another
neighbors,
Vietnam.
we will respond
And I
forcefully.
repeat this here tonight.
Heavy as
Our
they
troops
are,
will have the best
the cost of
possible
action
support
must
in
be
the
weighed
entire
against
world,
the price of
and
inaction.
they will not
If
be
Saddam
asked to
defies
fight
the world
with
and we
one
fail to
hand
respond,
tied
we will
behind
face
their
a
back.
far graver threat in the future.
I'm hopeful that this fighting
Saddam
will
will
not go
strike
on for
again
long,
at his neighbors.
and
He
that
will make
casualties
war
will be
on his own
held to an
people.
absolute minimum.
And mark my words, he
This
will develop
is an
weapons
historic
of
moment.
mass destruction.
We
He will
have in
deploy
this
them,
past year
and he will
made
use
great
them.
progress in
Because we're
ending the
acting
long
today,
era of
it is less
conflict and
likely
Cold
that we
War.
will face these dangers
We
in the
have
future.
before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. We have no argument with the people of Iraq. Indeed, for the innocents caught in this conflict, I pray for their safety. Our goal is not the conquest of Iraq. It is the liberation of Kuwait. It is my hope that somehow the Iraqi people can, even now, convince their dictator that he must lay down his arms, leave Kuwait, and let Iraq itself rejoin the family of peace-loving nations. Thomas Paine wrote many years ago, "These are the times that try men's souls." Those well-known words are so very true today. But even as planes of the multinational forces attack Iraq, I prefer to think of peace, not war. I am convinced not only that we will prevail, but that out of the horror of combat will come the recognition that no nation can stand against a world united. No nation will be permitted to brutally assault its neighbor. No president can easily commit our sons and daughters to war. They are the nation's finest. Tonight, as our forces fight, they and their families are in our prayers. May God bless each and every one of them and the coalition forces at our side in the Gulf, and may He continue to bless our nation, the United States of America.